to do as a people, you know, to change and better our position, you know? What do you think?
I think the first thing we need to do, which is another reason why I'm here, is to get back to our own culture. We need to get back to our own people, because if you're, if you're dependent on other people or another system, whatever that system does is where you're going to follow. Whereas if you first focus on self, deal with your own issues, because everybody has issues. We have issues as a society, we have issues as family. You have to deal with those issues, and some of them goes back generations, even spiritually. Your ancestors could have had issues or could have been oppressed in such a way that they transition without those things being changed. So as we live in spirit,
trauma.
yes, that's it. So when we have that generational trauma, as you said, you need to face it direct. Look into yourself and say, what is my issue? What do I need to do? Not fix, because it takes a lot of time to do these things, but at least acknowledge.
You got to do it, or the sins of the father will pass to the son.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yes, well said.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what it needs to be done. Start with self. Yeah. Go internally. Clean.
Provable instances of institutional racism as defined by the Macpherson Inquiry of Crime.
First off, we have to acknowledge that it's here. The questions are being answered, so it's necessary after so much time. Because like we were talking before about the racism that's been passed on. These type of documents, followings, things that people have created now to change the narrative and make them accountable again for what they've been doing and what they've allowed to do, is very necessary during this time, because we're in now a time of change.
Yes.
We're in a time of history.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't know what it's like to live in history, because we never lived through no World War or nothing. But we're living in history. So now this Macpherson thing is now in the midst of all of this stuff. We're part of that history, so it's necessary. What I would say is what we all need to do, another part of why we're here today and we're even linking up here, is the fact that we need to speak to each other, because their system and what they have, like the TV, the media, the news outlets, all that kind of stuff, that's them. They've created that, they have it, they use it when they want. That's propaganda.
Yeah, we can't.
Whereas what we have is numbers, but what we need is unity.
Networking.
And once you've got that networking, we can say, look at this Macpherson, read. What do you think of it? How can you help? How can you do blah, blah, blah. So it's very much needed. It's just more people need to want to know these things. Don't say, that's just another black thing, or it's all this, or it's all whatever. No. And it's like I said before, it's time. It's now our time. Because I've got kids. I don't know if you've got youths, but we need to do for today. Malcolm X weren't bred just because he was Malcolm X, we need to raise him up. That's not that. Malcolm X's mother and father, they were workers for Marcus Garvey. That's how they're linked.
You heard that.
And that's universal. They didn't wake up, they didn't give birth when they said, we're going to do this thing.
Same with Rosa Parks. People look at Rosa Parks like she's just some old woman that just didn't want to get up off her seat. She was raised in a revolutionary household. Her dad was a strap-toting black man that said, listen, you can't touch my black kid, I will lick you down. He was on that energy. So obviously that's her dad. So when it comes to getting off a bus, she's like, nah, bro, my dad told me don't fear nobody. I ain't getting off. So it don't come from nowhere.
So we need to be aware that we can be these people. Inspired by our ancestors. But to know that, you know what, I am a person like Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Garvey. We are people who can just be the ones to say, you know what, bun this, I'm not having this. And then we become those people. And then our children become those people earlier in life. They know to get the children early to condition their minds. So we must understand, like I said, they've shown their hand. So we can now see what they've been doing. So if you have to get to the children early, I have to get to them even earlier and rise their spirits and teach them and educate them. They think kids can't know too much about something. Nah, kids get their sponges. They know enough things. And as well, they can show us things. Because we're living in an AI age. That's what's taking over.
They're not conditioned, so they just see it as it is.
AI is taking over everything. They can say, right, Dad, have you thought about this? Or what do you think about this? I never thought about that, you know. We must listen to the youths. Stay united, stay strong, because each one of us has a purpose, brother. And we just need to do this talk. To even want to hug a next person, and like, no, I don't want to hug all these germs.
It's a myth. Don't get me started.
Follow your old thing anyway. But love
and respect. I appreciate your time.
DaddyMakesDoh, one word, just socials or whatever. But this kind of thing I talk about, reasonings and everything else. So it's love, king. Safe family.
You're done, no.
They're killing my dogs. Tell me Hussein. I feel like